Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hello, you're listening to the podcast, So There I Was. This is episode number 177. Squints and Moles.
Wow. Squints and Moles. Daytime, nighttime. Hear all about it. Amazing. 177 too, Fig. It's almost like we're getting regular at this, you know?
I know. It's crazy. And this is what another outstanding show. Our very first OV-10 Bronco pilots.
Yep.
Marine Corps OV-10 Bronco
Two of them.
pilots. Two of them.
Yeah. Two Bronco
Felix
drivers.
and Pigpen.
Fantastic stuff.
You'll find out how they got their call signs later, if you're lucky.
Absolutely. And, well, that's especially to the folks at Patreon, because I don't think we closed the loop on that. Well, we got Felix's during the show, and then we got sidetracked and never did get Pigpen's. So we put that in our extra, which will be coming out. So if you want to learn about how Pigpen got his call sign, subscribe to sotherewas.us/Patreon. And speaking of Patreon, there's a couple folks that have lost a sense of financial responsibility, cracked their wallets open, and given us money to keep this show coming to you. We're grateful for that. Dean Chick Correa gave us $100. Thank you, Chick.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Nick Shockley, I'm probably butchering the name, but Nick Shockley we mentioned him back in, I want to say April or May, about being a tanker aircraft commander. And he kept it rolling for 4 more months. So a total of $800. Thank you, Nick. That is over and above. We're deeply grateful. And he's trying to hook us up.
Loss of judgment, but we are so appreciative. Thank you.
We are indeed. And he's trying to hook us up with some of the folks that flew down in Central America back in the 80s.
Oh, nice.
May be able to help us expand our guest list, as it were. Break. Coming into the middle of our preamble here, Fig and I have another announcement that we realized we didn't announce when we recorded the preamble. What haven't we done in a long time?
We haven't hung out.
No.
We haven't had a hangout. Yeah.
No. So what I want you to do is go to sothereiwas.us, and I will have a link up there for our Zoom hangout. We're going to do that on the 24th of September. That's a Wednesday, the 24th of September at 1900 Eastern Time. Get as many of us together. Just shoot the BS. Talk aviation. Pretend like we know what we're talking about. That kind of stuff. What do you think, Fig?
I love it. I got it on my calendar right now.
There we go. 1900 Eastern, 2300 UTC, Wednesday, 24th September. So there I was, hangout. Be there or be square. Here endeth the breaking in announcement. Now back to your regularly scheduled preamble. And sponsor this week is Masterclass. Some amazing videos from incredibly talented folks. Learn all kinds of cool stuff. One of the ones I'm looking at going to soon is Phil Ivey and poker. How not to give away your tells.
You know what I learned last night too?
What's that?
Because of this masterclass thing is that you used to do magic.
Oh, yeah, I did. I did indeed.
That's a layer of onion I haven't unpeeled yet.
There you go. That and stage hypnosis. And yeah. A quick story from that in just a second here, but let me tell you, for you to go to Masterclass and get 15% off, go to masterclass.com/so there I was. Masterclass.com/so there I was. Get 15% off your subscription. We'll talk more about that in the show, but a quick story from my stage hypnosis days. We were doing, I think it was the Chittenden County State Fair in Vermont, and I told people, sit down, relax, and you can't find your belly button. When I count to 3, you'll open your eyes and you can't find your belly button. And so I had them do that, and they're, people are all kind of freaking out. They're looking around and stuff. And the next thing I know, my wife was running the sound for me, and she picked up a microphone and goes, "Pete, turn around." Like, oh crap. There was a woman there, and she was taking her shirt off looking for her belly button. I'm like, whoa, I was interviewing someone with my back to her. I was like, boy. Turn around. This woman was starting to take her shirt off at the fair. It was like, no. Okay, you got it. It's back. Sit down, relax, close your eye.
All right. Well, hey, back to Felix and Pigpen.
Yeah, those guys, what a fun show. We did come on with Squints and Moles as the show title, but we had a bunch of other great possibilities. One of my favorites was 7-ton missile magnet.
I liked understanding what the Earth people do might be important.
Might be important.
He was referring to the ground pounders.
Yep.
As on our Marine infantry brothers.
Whom they supported a lot. And what was the other one? A dirt bike with wings?
Dirt bike with wings. Yeah. How was it fun to fly? Yeah, it was like a dirt bike with wings.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Excellent Adventure, which was how they referenced their it'd take them a month to get
a month to get from California to the Middle East in the OV-10 Bronco, flying at 180 knots, whether they needed to or not.
They scattered airplanes all over the place. Everybody
all
was
over the globe
multiple times. Yeah. Hey, but they got there, right?
Yeah.
They got there and they flew in the war. And they took they had some airplanes that went down, and I'm not going to ruin it, but good stories.
They lost their skipper, and sadly, he's now passed. Guy Hunter was the warrant officer in the back with their skipper, who got shot down and was in the, I don't know, was it the Baghdad Hilton with Bart?
Yeah, we'll call it the Baghdad Hilton.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So, what's some other great stories, to include some wonderful stories about a buddy of mine from TBS, Flair, who has since passed, but some good stories about him.
Squadron mate of theirs, right? Squadron
mate of theirs. Flair and I were friends from day one at the basic school, and he was Mr. Cool.
I learned a lot about the airplane that I never knew. From guys that actually flew the shit out of it. So I was really happy about that. And then to hear their stories about flying it, that was just icing on the cake.
Exactly. I mean, I think I knew a little more than I thought I did, but I certainly learned a lot last night. But having talked to Flair about it early on when he was flying it, I was unbelievably impressed with the mission and how hard it is to do that mission in that airplane, because they were down there in the weeds getting the eyes on target and marking targets for the mud movers, as they call them.
Yeah. Well,
for us really, guys. Yeah.
They were down in the heart of the small arms, weapons envelopes, and AAA. And, it's, and what I lost sight of is that was part of the jet strike pipeline. I really forgot that was an option. Of course, I guess it really wasn't an option for you and I, because they quit putting guys in that pipeline, but holy shit, that could have been an option.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think most people would have thought that it was you had, when we finished primary, you could go helos, props, or strike. And the guys that went strike could go to the OV-10. That was not a prop airplane to go to, even though that has two of them.
Yeah. Yep.
But
cool missions. Some cool missions.
Great missions, great stories. I think the best thing to do is get out of the way and listen to Felix and Pigpen tell us all about it.
Let's get out of the way.
All right, here comes show 177. Felix and Pigpen. Don't sit on that ejection seat handle.
Ooh, not in this airplane. It happens fast.
This here is a true story about crossing the pond at night in the world's smallest cockpit on the tanker through the weather. And to the tanker crew who did that, thanks a lot. We really appreciated that. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fun.
So there I was, crossing the border between Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, 1991. We had been patrolling a lot a couple months before the actual war kicked off. So we're flying into Kuwait. I think we're on a mission just for recon in a Bronco with a beanie in the back, a forward air controller in the back. And we're flying in and not seeing anything unusual. We don't see anything out of the ordinary. We're in about, I don't know, maybe 3-5 miles in past the border. And we noticed some black puffs in the sky around us. And we're thinking, initially it was like, what's that? And then immediately it was like, oh, we know what that is. And I'll stop there, I guess.
All right. Yeah. That's one. All right, Pigpen.
So there I was After 3 days stuck in the rain at Goose Bay on the way on the excellent adventure, rotate the airplane, swat the gear handle up, and my big giant tack chart goes flying around the cockpit like John Belushi in 1941. So I quickly slapped shut the air vent to collect my stuff, and then I go back to open air vent up and realize that I'm going to be the first and only pilot to arrive in Saudi Arabia with frostbite.
Oh, shit. Whoa. Well, so hello and welcome to So There I Was. That's two So There I Was openers. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what's next. Repeat.
More of
Where
these,
are you
right?
tonight?
Repeat's home in New Hampshire, and thrilled to welcome two Marine aviators this week. And maybe next week we'll see how long the show goes, and may split this one up. That we're good friends with a buddy of mine from the basic school, who I had the pleasure of attending his daughter's wedding a couple weeks ago, and got to meet these gents there. Sadly, we lost Flair about 16 years ago to pulmonary embolism, which was just horrible. But it was a privilege to see his daughter and then meet the Marines who flew in Gulf War I with him. So we're here to welcome Felix and Pigpen, our first Bronco drivers. Fig, we got a first here.
Yeah, we're popping our Bronco cherry tonight.
Very cool. And, we've never talked much about the OV-10 Bronco, except I think if it's ever been mentioned, I'm pretty sure I would have said, that is a fucking hard mission. So all respect to you guys, man. That looked like a handful of airplane to fly and do the shit you had to do when you were flying it.
With charts and shit. Not
charts.
Map and,
That's right.
Charts.
INS, right? I can't wait
It
to hear all about
did beat walking, so yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
No kidding. So let's go alphabetical order. So Felix, when's the first time you looked up at the sky and went, I could do that?
Oh man, I wanted to fly since I was a little kid.
Right.
Yeah. So I actually got an Air Force scholarship, full ride scholarship that I thought was flight designated, like I was designated for pilot, which they do those things. The Air Force did. And I was going to Clemson, and at the end of the first year, beginning of my sophomore year, I somehow figured out that it wasn't a flight. It was an engineer tagged billet. And so I'm trying to get them to change it, and they wouldn't change it. So I dropped the scholarship. I quit, and I did the Marine PLC program, and because they said they were going to guarantee me a flight slot, which they eventually did. So that was
nice.
Eventually.
Well, we're in that weird delayed program. Like we all had the flight contract, and then you get, by the time you get to go to TV, go to TBS.
Yeah.
But at that point, the flight school's full. We can't let you in.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you a second billet, and then we'll let you know when you get to go to flight school.
That's that's what happened to Disco and Strut, right?
And Repeat. Yeah.
Yeah, and Flair.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Flair. Yeah, Flair and I were in the same company at TBS. So.
Pensacola. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. So in fact, Flair and I. It was funny. I checked in Charlie's because I had already bought my uniform, and so I'm standing outside waiting for my wife to pick me up. And Flair comes up, and he's in a suit to check into the basic school, and he comes up to me and goes, "Sir, is this where I check in?" I'm like,
"Sir,
yeah, second lieutenant, just like you, dude. I just checked in, right in there." And we were fast friends and good friends ever since. So yeah, so it was awesome, and we remained friends until the day of his passing. So all right, well, very cool. Jeez, and I just told you before the show, write it down, and I didn't write it down, and my question now has slipped my mind. Oh, that was it. Which company were you in? Do you remember?
At TBS?
At the basic school, yeah. When did you start?
I think I don't know. I think I was Charlie Company. Now I'm
Delta 80, Delta 85.
Okay.
Nice.
So Pigpen, if you were in Delta, you went straight to Pensacola after TBS.
I did. Actually, I did.
Yeah, because that was the big lie. They told us that no one will go to flight school that's behind you. And they took like Golf Hotel Alpha Bravo Charlie and stuck us all to the fleet.
When did you start? When did you start?
The guys in my company started in 1986, so 2 years later. And long story on mine, I lost my flight contract. I didn't actually start until November of 87. I had to fight to get my flight contract back, which I eventually did, but it was definitely not guaranteed. So, yeah. So, all right. How about you, Pigpen? When did you look up in the sky and go, I can do that?
I still go to bed at night thinking about airplanes and wake up thinking about airplanes. I've always been afflicted that way. I think we actually lived off the approach of Erie International Airport as a kid, and my dad would take me to the hangars and poke around. And one day, I figured out it was right around my 8th birthday. He took me it must have been a 206 or 182 because they got the whole family in it. And we flew around that. And then the next time I flew was on an airliner on the way to PLC program.
How about that?
Yeah. Always was
awesome.
Yeah.
Right. And a nice welcoming committee at Washington National.
Yeah.
Camp Upster, baby. Yeah. The second time, I was an idiot. I went to the suburb, 2 increments,
I don't know.
6. That was tough.
I don't know. I don't think I could have done that. I did the 10-weeker thing, and I was so pissed when I left. I was thinking, if I did the 2-timer thing, I don't think I could have done it.
And I did not enjoy the bummer summer either. But anyway, it was fun. I mean, I learned a lot there. There were parts that I learned, and in our community, understanding what the Earth people do was important. So I think there were some lessons learned.
The Earth.
My experience carrying a rifle around, but
Earth people. That's great.
That might be a title.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I like to say I failed life's IQ test. I went to PLC junior and senior as well.
Thank you, sir. I have another.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, you went back? You went back for more of that shit?
Came back. All right, good.
All right. Oh, too funny. Okay.
So, hey, this is for either one of you guys, both of you. Does any special experience stick out from officer candidate school?
Oh shit! Yeah,
because
right on. Let's go.
I would love to hear it.
Well, I can remember I'm on the grind. So I'm on the grinder. We're marching around, and somehow I was they made me the scribe. I was the guy who was not quite in charge, but I was, writing watch anyway. And I don't know how I was getting a little cocky or what, but we're out there marching around doing something, and this mean old fat gunny came through our squad bay, and a hurricane, blew through it. I'm like, oh shit. And next thing you know, it was me. Fuck.
Hey, you're right by the front door.
Well, what he did was he just went and looked for someone who had, how you pre-do your lock so you can just snap it open for your lock. Well, I didn't, I had it right on there. He found mine, and
oh boy.
And
then it was a yard sale of your shit going down the squad bay, right?
And it's like, what? Then I cleaned it up. And then the biggest thing was, I go do that, and then I was like, well, where do they go? How do I get reintegrated with this? It's just crazy. Yeah,
we have had drill instructors on, to include First Sergeant Crouch, who was at Parris Island, among other things, but also did AOCS in Pensacola.
Wow.
And we had a wonderful story from First Sergeant Crouch about finding various articles and
in an unsecured footlocker.
Yeah. Unsecured footlocker desk. I'll briefly tell. Look, I've teased it. I'll tell the story briefly here.
Yeah.
He found a wallet with $174 in it and did the young candidate a favor. Since nobody steals loose change, he had the $174 converted to loose change. And then he had to do up downs with his rifle while counting the loose change as it was scattered about the deck. And
however, this is a very impressive part, which I didn't catch the first time he told the story. So he went to the bank and got it in. They were, nickels, dimes, and quarters, and they were in rolls. So he's got this kid.
Oh, it was no quarters. Pennies, nickels, dimes. Remember, no quarters.
Pennies,
people take
dimes.
quarters.
So he has this kid with the rifle doing all this shit, and he's taking these rollers and he's throwing them on the floor, and they're coming apart. And he goes, He goes, all right, that's 17 this and 17 that. How much is that? And the kid would get it right. And he goes, son of a bitch. And he so, it kind of backfired on him in a way, but it was still impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah. And then he was kind enough to donate to us $174 in loose change.
Yeah.
So thank you, First Sergeant Crouch.
His doorstep weighing like 39 pounds.
Yeah.
It costs more to ship it than it was
It put him over the $200 aircraft tanker commander level. Yeah. So thank you, First Sergeant Crouch, again for that. We were deeply grateful for the humor and but those guys are comedians. Anyway, all right. That was a rabbit hole and we didn't need to go down. So, all right.
Felix, do you have any standout memories from OCS that you still giggle about?
Oh, there's a funny one that they would make, when you march and you're running that slow jog run with the platoon, I guess and so you're running, and then they pull, he rotate candidates out to do the chants. Right. And so, that's like, we don't know how to do chants.
Oh man, I couldn't do Jody's for shit.
Yeah, but I remember the one, so they did, let's see, I'm trying to think of what the chant was. So you'd go like, dedication, and you'd be running to that, and then one guy, and then they do some other one, and then one of them was determination. It doesn't really work, and so I kind of cracked up about that, and that was not good. That was not good. Yeah, so I had some.
If I die on a Russian front.
All right. Well, thank you.
Fantastic. Oh man.
Jody and Recon Daddy and all those characters.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So Pensacola for both you guys for initial, right? Like AI, whatever they call it. That's what they called it back then. And then did both of you guys go to primary at Whiting, or did somebody go to Corpus? Or
I thought all primary was Whiting when we were going through.
No, they had Corpus, but I was VT3. Were you VT2?
Yeah, VT2. Yeah.
I was VT3.
All right.
And then you went to Beeville, right? And I went to Kingsville.
Yep.
So let me ask you this. You guys out of primary, did you select jets?
Yes.
Jets. Okay. Because
we weren't expecting to get OV-10.
Yeah, we didn't. None of us were very happy.
We weren't happy at the time.
None of us were happy.
Well, and so
but it worked out.
OV-10s weren't an option when we went through. I mean, the only the F4, the last F4 squadron, the VMFP3 was off the.
Guys in my class flew with VMFP3, like Walt Wright and some guys. I knew guys, John Bond, all those. So I could have gotten that. I wanted A6s is all I wanted. I didn't want to fly, but there was a time though when they were doing it from Hilo guys and they were mixing it up. It was a interesting community. I'll just say that, but kind of a mixed. It's like a biker's gang.
There you go.
People from all communities. Pretty crazy.
We had a Marine Corps birthday ball out in Fallon. The birthday ball was at the Hyatt Lake Tahoe, and it was a combined ace deployment out there. And Q1, right? VMO Q1 was with us, and those fuckers got in a fist fight amongst themselves at the ball. I mean, it was awesome. They were bloody. Their ribbons were torn off. I mean, they got a knocked out, drag out fight. We're like, whoa. I thought they'd pick on us, but no, they fighting amongst themselves.
Yeah. That's funny. I'm trying to think. Yeah, by the time I went through, I think there were still OV-10s occasionally, and then Harriers, and then the EA6s. That was it. Oh, and Hornets, but there were no Hornets by the one I selected.
Well, you still could have got A6s, because there was guys that from my class that got A6s.
When I got through,
maybe. I know there were Navy guys still getting A6s. I didn't remember any Marines. I guess there was, yeah.
There weren't very many. Well, when did you get your wings, Pete?
January of 90.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
And one thing that I think that we did a little differently is they actually put us through the Air Force OV-10 rack, which is kind of interesting. So we went to Patrick. Did you go to Patrick or did you go to Tucson?
It was Patrick, yeah.
Yeah, so we went to Patrick, and it was probably 3-4 months of basic flying stuff and a little bit of
2 weeks all crammed into 4 months.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as hard as strike training, that's for sure. In A4, it was kind of fun, but it was interesting because we got to see how the other world lives, and we were definitely misfits amongst. I mean,
Oh yeah.
but I met some really cool people. There were guys coming through, like F-111 guys coming out for like a B tour for flying a different airplane, and it was pretty cool. I met a lot of interesting people there. And it was nice, clean airplanes. I noticed as well.
Exactly, and they had a better avionics package too. I remember flying into Patrick on I'm with an instructor doing something, and so they comes and goes, okay, shoot the ILS approach. And I'm going, what the heck? ILS? But luckily,
how do you spell that?
I had a
cross the needles. Okay, I'll try it.
Well, it's super easy. Well,
yeah.
I had an Atari computer, like an Atari 64-bit computer. And it had a flight simulator on it, and it had ILS on there. So when I'm practicing, before this is like I'm playing with this flight simulator, and I've flown the ILS there. So then you go shoot the ILS. I'm thinking, okay, well, I've done this on the simulator, and it was ILS is easy though. You just keep those bars lined up. It's like okay, I learned that, but they had nice clean planes with upgraded avionics. I mean, we had pretty crap. I mean, we didn't. When we were and so I remember Pigpen. Remember when we got those Trimble GPS units that we got just portable units that you'd stick on your dash so you wouldn't get lost in that sea of sand out there. I mean, that's the kind of avionics we had. Okay, we had that.
And the satellites were useful like 4 hours a day, and we'd be flying along.
Of course they were.
And Card would go, hold on, it's time. And he'd pull it up and kind of hold it up, and he'd go, okay, ready? He'd read me a lot long. I'd write it on the map. I go, okay. Tells me we're on the 180 for 25 in the tech end still.
There's your moving map.
Yeah.
Put the vent on your map. We'll start moving.
And then remember they gave us the Loran as well. They put a Loran system in.
Wow.
Flying around the world with tack ends, following the hose dragon piano players. And the SEAL teams blew up the damn Loran towers in the first day of the war. So that was useless. So we had a tack in. And we just did that, and
just cuts off the tack end. You guys, because that airplane did not have an INS, right? No inertial.
No, the D did, but we never used it. Remember, the D had an INS, but it was useless.
It did.
But I think they took it out of the D plus. But the older Ds had it. It was useless.
So can you tell us the official version of what the OV-10's mission was?
Well, for us, it was primarily forward air control, right? I mean, our job was basically, it's an interesting community because we had in the back seat either an infantry officer or artillery guy, and later NFOs called SACs who were trained. They were ground pounders or infantry officers or combat arms officers who were then naval aviators. And it was a 2-seat mission, so we would coordinate. I think what the great Tubo Sams would say, we were the hyphen in the air ground team. We would coordinate the ground and the air activity. Sometimes it would be more of a TAC-A thing, often a FAC-A thing.
Okay.
I mean, a bunch of cool things we would do. I mean, Felix, what am I missing?
No, that sounds right. I mean, the first class that we went to for the N-type training at the Air Force for the OV-10. The first thing that we did, I don't know if you did this too. I think you must have. We went to Hurlburt Field and had to learn all the TAC and FAC stuff, the forward air control type stuff, and that was our first. Which I have to be honest, I didn't care for, but I mean,
but tell you what though, you're a brand new kid in the fleet, and you're showing up, and I mean, you get in the squadron, you work your way up, and next thing you know, you're at red flag. And you're controlling 4 F-16s, and if they don't say wings level, they're off the range. And if you don't, you guys are mud moving HUD guys. You know if a FAC can be pushed around or not.
No,
and, a good one won't be.
So, and you guys were you guys marking targets with rockets?
Yeah. So in Desert Storm, we had FLIRs and we had laser guide. We have a FLIR with a laser spot tracker in it.
Okay.
And then we had Zuni rockets as well. And we had
FLIRs on the Ds, but I remember that story I started. I was in an A. They didn't all. They only we didn't have. We brought A's over, right? Or were they all?
But yeah. So we had
Pigpen, man, Pigpen. You had to be on the A team to get the one with the flare. Shh, you weren't supposed to say that.
No, we all flew both.
You got to fly at night, dude, and that's the worst part.
There you go, right on.
Yeah, so we did both. We did both, but
we split ourselves up into crews. We had squints and moles. We had day crews, so we had an assigned back. We had a crew.
Squints and moles. There's another show title.
Yeah. we had assigned crews, and we rotated. Basically, our schedule was we would fly 5 days, right? We'd rotate. So if I was a night guy, anywhere there were blocks. I think there were 4.5 hour blocks. And you just rotate through, and then at the end you hit SDO, and that was great. Or you hit strip watch, 30-minute launch. And so basically you flew 6 days and 1 day off. And
what was your 1 day off a duty day? Like
SDO.
SDO?
And that was the best day because you weren't going to get shot at in your SDO. And every time I had trip alert, I always had to launch because some knucklehead from another squadron, I guess, I don't know. Either way.
And the phone probably never rang as an FTO, although you probably didn't answer the radio.
So how many squadrons, when you guys got to your squadrons, how many OV-10 squadrons did we have? Two? One on the east, one on the west?
We had East and West Coast and VMO. So you had VMO 2 in Pendleton, VMO 1 in New River, and then VMO 4 in Atlanta.
So and then VMO 4 was the reserve?
Yeah. And then a det that was jointly supported for a long time, but finally VMO 2 had the det in Okinawa at the team.
Okay. How many airplanes in a squadron?
12, 14. I mean, we had airplanes plus, right? I mean, we'd have 12 to 16, I'd imagine. And then on the det, you'd have six or so over there that are sort of separate.
So it was a pretty tight community, really. I mean, you guys probably all either knew each other or knew about each other, right? Okay, that's pretty small.
Well, on the east and west coast are kind of separate, right, in our own little worlds. Sure. The one thing, and I'll let you talk, Felix, is what was happening is there was a contract where they were taking the OV-10s and they were schlepping them, right, Service Life Extension Program. Yeah. So airplanes would come through as A's. So airplanes, it was kind of neat. If you open up your logbook, like whenever there's these things flying around, most of the airplanes we got to fly because they came. Maybe I flew like the first airplane I flew in the Marine Corps, OV-10. It was an A model, and the last was a D model. It was the same airplane, but had been converted. So the point is airplanes are crossing. It's also a very small community, to your point. But yeah.
So you flew the same bureau number, and it was the two different airplanes, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was an A model, and then it was a D model. Yeah, and I think the A models fly better. I think.
What was the big difference when they slept it and turned it into a D? What kind of upgrades was it?
They put the FLIR. They put a FLIR on it, the forward-looking infrared.
Well, that was the so they had the D it had 1,000 horsepower versus 700 horsepower.
Yeah. Okay, bigger motor.
More structure and the longer nose, and then the SLEP. They went in and they did they put in all digital radios and zhuzhed up a few things here electronic wise.
Okay.
We went to digital, which is weird because like. Digital radios, you guys understand this. In the OV-10, you're listening to, we had 2 FMs, an HF, and so you're listening to all these radios. And these airplanes sound like, we both flew on that airplane, I guarantee it. These airplanes, if you're listening on an FM radio and you're listening on a UHF radio, they sound differently because of side tone in a classic airplane. And you can kind of keep them separate in your head. But when we got the digital radios, they all sounded the same.
Oh, shit.
And I couldn't do it. You could not listen to 3 channels at once. I couldn't anyway. There's nuanced things, but it's still a 7-ton missile magnet, right? It would still fly about 200 knots. And
so 7-ton missile magnet.
So was your airplane to fly, but just not
in a sophisticated threat environment. Is what you're, so okay. I want to know. All there is to know about how it flies and all that, but let's go back real quick before we get too far downrange. Your weapon, you're not calling him a weapon. He's a aerial observer, and then later on became a weapon.
An AO's top.
Okay,
AO or a SAC-A.
Were they controlling airplanes, or were they coordinating gunfire, or marking targets?
Sometimes, they could. They would all be certified to run the air, but usually the way it would work out is they're experts on the ground. But it is a 2-man operation for sure. Like
okay.
But typically, they all had to be qualified to run air, and that just sometimes you need them because you need another set of eyes.
Yeah,
but it's also a challenge to make sure having a situational awareness to do that job requires a certain, I don't know, bit of tenure. So some are better than others, I guess, is what I'd say, and that applies to both seats.
Well, and then also, they're not pilots, so
right.
I would imagine that some had issues with, air sickness.
Oh yeah, there's some guys. Remember, Lefty used to always every time we go flying. It's funny. One thing that got him was this guy's a great American. The climbing left turn would always kick his ass. Take it off, gear up. Okay, we're climbing, and he knew that, and he just and the dirty secret is the airplane has a message drop door too.
Oh,
so
boy.
One of our cool missions would be we would drop. We're supposed to back in the days you take a Polaroid and then you put the Polaroid into the drop pouch and drop it on the grunts, and that would be fun because we get to do that and get the action. So we would try to hit them with hit the Humvee with whatever we might find in the pouch, which might have come from someone's box at the CAX. It may not be tactical pictures, but they were pictures anyway.
I see where that's going.
But you get good at it's anyway. I digress. But anyway, he could find a way to drop
vomit bombing, man. Vomit bombing.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. That's
I digress.
Unpressurized, correct? Cockpit's unpressurized, or was it pressurized?
No.
It's unpressurized. Yeah.
You can pull that little thing down for the air and the vent. Remember the vent? The little door that goes out like this.
All right. So you guys flew those airplanes all the way to Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and I'm guessing you were at 14,000 feet?
It varied. I mean, we followed the two C-130s full of our troops and parts and stuff, and I'd say probably 12 to 15,000 feet ish is about right.
You guys weren't breathing oxygen, were you?
Yeah, it's oxygen left in.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It has a G suit. It has a G suit and oxygen. So I would often use oxygen, especially flying at night. Look at that old thing. My God,
that's a busy cockpit right there.
Yeah, I'm showing an old cockpit on the YouTube feed. That'll be on the So There Was the US /episode /177.
Now,
see a photo of the cockpit. Yeah, it is busy.
Hey Felix, what's the feed light?
how did it fly? Was it nimble or? Yeah, it was maneuverable.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like a dirt bike with wings. Really
That's right. There you go. That's a good way.
Really great airplane.
Nice.
Look, when I got orders, I was like, wait a minute. I didn't want to. Once I settled down and got into it and applied myself and got to do cool things. I mean, I could think of times me and Ron here flying along the desert at 500 feet doing tack turns, just out of daily day training, ripping around at 100 feet. What a blast. I mean, it's funny. Yeah. It was highly aerobatic, but also hard to fly in the clouds, I think, because you got glass coming down to your thighs, and it wasn't a whole lot of help. And we'd fly that thing in solid instrument on it. We'd fly 4 hours straight in ink black, and there's no autopilot. It's just, you saw it. There's not much there.
Whoa, hold on a second, Pigpen. I thought I heard you say there's no autopilot.
Yeah, no autopilot.
No.
Well, if the guy in the back's any good, if you teach him how to charge the ball.
There you go. You got a voice-activated autopillet. Don't hit the fucking ground.
You want to fly? Can I fly? Hell yeah, you can fly. Hold this heading. Yeah. Absolutely.
I hadn't even considered that. I mean, I knew it didn't have any fancy avionics, but holy shit, no autopilot.
Yeah, you should see when I got in the G1000 a year ago. I about had a stroke.
Damn.
Wow.
There she is.
Look at that view.
So, oh man.
So you guys carried a centerline external fuel tank? Is that what I see?
Yeah.
So you must have had incredible loiter time. Right?
I think we could stay 6 hours, right, Dan?
Yep, we had 4.5 hours on. So we carried an oversized 300-gallon ferry tank. Like we would fly that thing from Fatima to QB Point, and that was cool. You hold the tack end until it spins. You mark the clock, and you wait.
Wait 30 minutes.
And it comes back, and then you shoot the approach into QB. Anyway, things we did in this airplane were great. But I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Yeah, because he started thinking about QB Point. Yeah. Well, we were talking about the center tank and what kind of loiter.
So we carried an extra 300-gallon tank. We could loiter 4.5, 5 hours, 6 hours. We carried that. We carried a Sidewinder. We carried one or two pods of Zuni rockets, and we carried parachute flares. A lot of shit. The thing was pretty much broken out.
How many hard points under the wings did you guys have? You remember?
2 under the wings, and then 5 in the sponsons. So outboard there to the wingtip. You see the drop tank there on the right, the drop tank there, and then
the Zuni would go right there. The Zuni pod, right?
Okay.
On the next to it there. Yeah.
Zuni's got those guys. Those are a blast.
That tank there is a standard sized tank. The big tank is ginormous, and then they would put the.
There we go. That's a good shot.
I flew a mini mission. So did you, Felix? We flew that one flew in Desert Storm.
Ah, okay, yeah. Then I probably flew it.
Yeah,
that's the one.
I'm throwing various photos up on the YouTube feed. They'll all be on. So there was at US in the episode 177. So
me and the redneck savant are cruising along at 3:00 in the morning, and one of the simple pleasures in life at the OV-10 that I didn't really come to appreciate until Desert Storm was the use of the relief tube. Okay? And so at first you'd be very careful. I'm going to pin the seat. There's an ejection seat there in the proximity of the.
You don't want something ripped off if you pull the handle you're using.
Right? Yeah.
They got very routine with it, but anyway, it was like it's kind of like having a cup of having a break. I'm going to go over here and hold for a few minutes, and anyway, and one night we're flying. It's pitch black, solid, just dark, and I'm doing my thing, and next thing you know, oh no, the tube was not draining.
Oh shit!
God damn it! And that's exactly what I said. Tard's like, what? I go, piss tube's clogged. He goes, hold on a minute. So he's like, shit. So now we both have a clogged piss tube, and we have another hour and a half to go. So
no.
Eventually we give up and kind of drop that to the floor, and that airplane smelled like a urinal until the guy flew it. Probably still does. What it was is the turnbacks, God bless these guys. They're in there tweaking these motors, and they're absolute, masters at their craft. Turboprop things behind the props, but those who spit, there's a spittoon right there.
There you go.
How about that? These are things you just don't think of, Repeat.
No.
Right? So who made the OV-10? Who manufactured it? What company?
Oh, yeah.
Rockwell.
Yeah.
Is that Rockwell? Okay.
Okay.
And it had two, was it PT6? What were the motor? PT6s?
No, it was a Garrett. It was a Garrett.
I thought they were PT6s. Are you sure?
I'm quite sure.
Okay.
PT6s and King Airs and T-34s. Yeah, they're Garretts. T-70s.
Well, they're monsters.
Loud airplanes. Same thing as in a Merlin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Direct drive.
You had beta capability on the props, so you could stop that sucker in a dime.
Back it up, too.
Yeah, back it up. Yep. And because of the straight wing, I'm assuming you had really nice short field performance.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Did it have slats and flaps, or just flaps?
No, we didn't have
it's
slats.
Got some pretty cool flaps that have some, vents sort of in them. But there's nothing in the leading edge. No, it's just a big old.
We would practice landing on in Pendleton. You did this thing. We practiced landing on roads.
Yeah.
And so you take that thing and land it on a.
You fly the ball and just slam it right on there and hit reverse it, stop it.
Yeah.
The funny thing is when Desert Storm began, there was talk like, we got to get ready for the boat. They're going to put us in the boat. I'm like, no, they're not going to take us. There's no way they'll let us near the boat. So we did anyway do some FCLP stuff, but there's no way they were going to let us land on their boat. Which we could have done it, I'm sure, but
Well, it would have been awesome, but that'd have been a long way to go. A long way to go to work when you're not, when you can't do 500 knots. All right,
exactly.
When you're flying around tactically, controlling. Being forward air control mission, what kind of speeds are we talking?
150 knots is about all you could do, or less, right, Pig? Right?
Yeah, it depends what I'm doing. If I'm honestly, the thing would go, we would run it wide open, and I'd get about 180 knots to 200 knots. If I'm looking to hang out for time, and I'm orbiting, and maybe I'm doing some TAC A stuff, I'm going to pull the condition levers back, and I'm going to get it quiet down to. Maybe 600 pounds an hour. And it'll, we're talking 120, 130 knots, just kind of going out at 15,000 feet. But if I'm down low, the CAC's yanking and banking, its condition livers up and as fast as it'll go.
So did you guys think when you guys got deployed, Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, August of 91. You know, everybody's going to war. You guys are you loaded your shit. You flew. Let's start with that. How long did it take to get over there?
Oh, the Excellent Adventure was about almost a month, 3 weeks.
Holy shit!
It seemed like at least a month because we kept stopping every.
It was the greatest aviation adventure of all time.
So was the Alpha to Delta mod pull the airspeed indicator and put in a calendar? Holy shit!
No, we had to stop. We broke down on crop. We broke down.
Okay.
We're a Marine aircraft group. We were breaking down.
Well, fair enough. Yeah.
Every place we stopped, somebody had broken down. It's almost. I mean, it was
right.
Only
the finest in Vietnam era technology, right?
We spent 10 weeks in Lakenheath, right? I mean, it was.
Yeah, I went down to London. I toured the
Tower.
What's that?
Tower of London.
Abbey and
the bearing and bad the rudder. We need a new one. Okay.
Yeah.
There was no rush to get there. Trust me.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you knew you were going to be there when you got there, so.
Yeah.
Wow. And then because so the F-18D, which was eventually going to replace your mission, I think. We only had one squadron stood up and trained at the time.
Yeah, we knew guys in the squadron. That whole fast fact thing didn't pan out. They don't want to do that. They want to do cooler things, right? They want to do.
Well, that goes back to what I was saying at the very beginning is if you like you guys to both talk a little bit about the mission and how long it took you to get even a little bit good at it because. You're marking targets. You're trying not to hit the ground. You're flying at night. You're doing it low to the ground. This was when I learned what you guys were doing. I became immediately terrified. Like, oh my god, people do that shit in airplanes. So if you talk about that, what a typical mission was like: nighttime, daytime, and the very well. I say typical, but you had so many. To include, where'd it go? I'm looking for it. There it is. Bago found this.
Oh, yeah.
That's
used to throw Marines out of the back of that damn thing, too.
I forgot to do in an airplane. That was
me too.
Look at that picture that I've got up there, Fig.
Whenever you talk to
that guy is elbow to elbow, and they used to stick 4 Marines in there and throw them out the back.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's a great. You got to do that, right?
Yeah, it was
100 feet, and you pitch vertical.
You go straight up,
and the guy in the back hits his horn, and they kind of wiggle, and you do a wing over. It's crazy.
Well, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it if I was one of them because you're low. You're 100, then they drop out at maybe 300 or 400 feet. It's really low. I don't know how they come out inverted.
They come out inverted, yeah, and then they swing down. It's insanity.
How to get a swing in the chute, Holy shit.
You talk to any SEAL or any recon daddy, and you tell them you're an OV-10 guy, they go, "Oh, it's the best jump there ever was." Because it's like it's a rock star. We never did it. The D you couldn't take. The D you couldn't do that because you had all this FLIR gear embedded in the tail cone for the weight and balance.
Okay.
But yeah.
So did you take off without the tail cone on, and they were just?
Correct. They put a load master, they put a jump master in the back, and then 4 guys, like you said, butt to belly button and a gunner strap. And you come running in, and we did it with 2 airplanes. We simulated tactical ingress into the Camp Pendleton range, and we come ripping in it. And then, someone calls it. We both go up vertically, and kind of opposite direction hammerheads and ingress out the back. It's pretty cool.
It sounds bad.
Yeah, if you're flying it.
If you're flying, that's exactly.
Not if you're jumping.
If you get caught in the tail boom, that's my big worry. If they get caught up in the boom, and I'm just like, if you hear our seats fire, you're dead. Because I'm not going to be. I won't be able to help you out if you ever. And there was never a problem.
No.
Yeah, I can't.
That shit.
Yeah, right.
Static line from 100 feet or however high it is. And the thing runs at airspeed fast. I mean, I don't think you're at more than 1,000. I mean, you might get to 1,200 feet, and you're kind of come over at 90 knots and not get too slow and spin the thing because it's a bit of a drag queen.
Yeah, well, big fixed rate wing. I get it.
Yeah.
Wow. Guns.
We had toy guns, decorative guns, the M60s.
Yeah, they're M60s.
We had the M60s in our squadron, and we finally took them out because they were. when we were in the Philippines, we got to shoot at the banners in the Philippines. Even when you hit a banner in the air, they're worthless weapons. They don't work. So the point is, they would jam up. We did have a 20 millimeter gun pod we could fit to the bottom. I got to shoot that a couple times at the CACs. Yeah. But if you're making attacks with a cannon and an OV-10, I guess it's a different environment.
Right.
But
yeah, you're you got control of the skies for
the
sure.
M60 they would jam. I mean, you'd shoot them, and they would jam up, and there's 4 of them. And once they're jammed up, now you got a problem with the D-arm area, and you got live hot rounds. It's just a pain in the ass. We usually shot rockets, mostly 7.6, the 2.75, and occasionally we'd get to do the Zunies. And then we didn't fire the FLIR much because we used the FLIR a lot, but we didn't do much lasing because before Desert Storm, it took an act of Congress to get the laser range to turn anything on. We just never did it. And then over there, we had to have detect wraps get them synced up for us, but we didn't have a laser spot tracker, so we had to assume the thing was bore sighted.
No sense training like you fight, huh? Yeah.
Wow. So it took you about 6 months to get to the war. The war hadn't started yet, and I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
Now, so you guys have been training like all of us back in that period. We were fighting the Russians, so we were always using low altitude tactics and all this. And suddenly, you show up to the AOR over there and did you find out? Oh shit! We can't do what we've been training. I mean, what?
Yeah, our skipper got shot down, so that probably gave us the first clue. What I'd say is the first day of the war, we were all out. We were operating as a squadron. And VMO1 just showed up, and we had we had split the load, and they had more guys in crews. But either way, we had our thing. And I remember the first day, everybody was shocked and afraid on both sides, I think, right? I remember when the sun came up in the first morning, me and some Cobra guy were trying to make a Hellfire work, and it didn't work out very well. We were just fumbling through a lot of stuff, and the comm was messed up. But
hey, you turn this thing on.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. So, go ahead, Felix. I don't want to do all the time.
No, that was yeah. Yeah.
So that day one of the war, your skipper got shot down, right?
Yeah. So that night we had noticed guys are coming back, and they were saying, "Hey, we're all getting shot at," because we were kind of down low because no one was shooting at us. Right. Later in the day, people were getting shot at, but at first, no one was getting shot at. So I remember we went to chow. We all kind of sat down and had an informal meeting. Said, "Guys, you got to be careful. Let's start flying higher." And the skipper and Great White were already in the rack because they had the first launch in the morning.
Okay.
They were not in that conversation. And I don't know they would have mattered, but I think they were probably 7,000, 8,000. I don't know how high they were, but they were like, lead the Harriers in, follow me, and they were, I guess, right in the envelope. So that got us to, we lifted things up considerably. I was often up at 18,000 feet, Now, if you're doing actual FAC A work, you have to be down lower. But a lot of the time at night, especially, we were, A6s from the ship or whatever, we'd be checking into our area, and we would approve grid squares, that kind of stuff. So sometimes there wasn't much direct control, and it was more high-level stuff, high altitude. I mean, the Brits got hammered, right? The tornado guys got dead.
Yeah, they get it hard. They get it hard. So kind of glossed over it there. So yeah, your skipper and you called him Gray White. It was Guy Hunter got shot down and taken POW, and I think it took 6 or 8 weeks to get them back.
Were they in the clink with
Bart?
With Bart? Yeah. Right.
The skipper was a senior Marine for a while, a senior officer for a while. Yeah, they were. That was a bad day.
Yeah, the skipper got beat up real bad, messed up his whole face. I mean, the rifle butted him in the face.
We also had an ejection. He tells a story when they got hit, and he was a Cobra guy. So for what it's worth, he was new to ejection seat flying, and he commented that you get to temporal distortion, right? He pulls the handle. Yeah. And OV-10 is like the fastest seat in the inventory, right? It goes 0.4 second, the back seater, 0.4 the front seater. It's fast. He says he pulls the handle, and he's waiting, and he hears Guy go out. He's like, he's still waiting. He says, "Shit, what's going on?" He looks down, and the seat fired. And if you look back any of those videos, he's one of the POWs. His head, because he really, really messed up his neck muscles. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we've heard that before from guys that have ejected it, like, oh my God, the seat's not going to work, even though shit's happening so fast.
Oh yeah, everybody's got. It's funny you say that. Either I remember every nanosecond, or I woke up in a parachute.
Yeah. Yep.
I wouldn't know either, but
yeah. So is he still with us? I know we lost Guy Hunter.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's still living up in Seattle or someplace in the Northwest. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to chat with him.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I don't have his contact. Do you, Dan?
Rayman does.
Rayman does?
Yeah, Rayman's working on.
Okay.
The same way we're working on you for the reunion.
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't
Right on.
Because soon we'll all be dead, and there'll be no more.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, walk us through a typical. So let's see. I know it was a fairly abbreviated air war. Walk us through a typical day. What was it like? You said you were flying 6, off 1, which really you weren't off. You were that duty officer for the day. Squadron duty officer. So what did that look like? I know you said some guys were night, some guys were. Yeah,
so we were split in the nights, and so we had a pretty good routine. And so if I was a night guy, I would fly anywhere from sundown to sun up, and maybe some pinky time on either end.
Wow.
So I'd know what time slot I was going to do. I'd know. I mean, we all flew 25 to 28 missions, and so it gets into a good routine. You know the area very well. The basic premise is I know what time I'm going to fly. Like any other thing, you're going to, go to chow, go PT, whatever you normally try to do. Sleeping during the daytime was, of course, a challenge. And then I think we would go to ops for a brief. We would go to talk to the intel guys who would tell us. I just stopped listening because it was such a gloomy story. And then walk to maintenance control, sign like an airplane, and then I call it the long walk from maintenance control down. Grab your flight gear, you walk out to the flight line, and saddle up and go. I mean, it was very routine.
You guys go out as a section to go to combat, or did you go single ship?
We talked about that. We flew single ship. We trained section, everything we did, and we talked about that. One of the reasons was we had to cover the clock, and I think that's why, because of the bandwidth we had, and I guess I don't know. We talked about that because we trained all the time as a flight of 2, but during Desert Storm we flew a single ship.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wow, that seems. You
train like you fight.
Well, yeah, and you lose your mutual support.
Yeah.
So that you feel like you're naked, probably.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's hard to. The other thing, though, is when you're in a position where you're working the same area over and over every day, and you get to know all the guys on the ground, you have the ATO in the back, you can dial for dollars, and so it isn't like I can do more with a good backseater who knows is coming up in the queue in the ATO versus some guy trying to hold on my wing. I just think it's more of a better resource spread. And it's hard to say. I think most FAC work is done single ship.
I think, and I think Vietnam era. I mean, we're like a follow-on to the Vietnam era, that push me, pull you OV-1 or whatever that thing was.
Oh yeah.
I think they operated singles also. Yeah. I don't think they were.
We would do the section stuff that we would do would be if we're going in and doing, for instance, escorts. We do helo escorts all the time. We might do vehicle escorts. So there were plenty of missions where we go as a section. Maybe bring in, like we talked about, dropping the guys out of the back. Mm-hmm. But the FAC-A mission is what it is. So.
And so would you describe the FAC-A mission, if you would, a little bit? What is it those guys are doing? And you said, a good one is obviously good, very helpful and very resourceful, and a bad one probably just made your job harder. What constituted a good FAC in the back? A good FAC, and I'll let Felix, you could add in your piece. I can say that there was never, for instance, a blue-on-blue kill when OV-10 was on station, right? Forward air control, close air support, as you guys know, is dangerous stuff. And coordinating everything from putting the bombs on target, the right kind of bombs on target, going the right direction, deconflicting the artillery guys. There's a lot of shit going on. And so you have to be able to be able to compartmentalize. And you have to rely on your back. I think it's a 2-man job. I do believe that. And
you have to have I think it's situational awareness, right, Felix? You got to have an SA to know what to look for and know what to do and when, because you're switching back and forth, talking to guys in the ground. But there is also a flow to it. You guys have done it, like from your end. I mean, you've worked with you tell me what's a good fact. You're on the range and someone's there controlling you either on the air or on the ground. If they give you what you want, it should be a referee. You shouldn't even know I'm there.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. I'm just trying to think. We didn't do that with a guy in the back seat trying to do that job. I can't imagine you're trying to fly the airplane, not hit the ground, and help him get eyes on what he needs to get eyes on, and have enough SA to go, who's he trying to talk to? What is it he's trying to do? I mean, I imagine the same thing is true of the pilot. A good pilot could make a fat guy's job really easy, and a guy who's picked up is just making his life miserable no matter how good he is.
It's like there's mission command or whatever tactical command of a mission or a hop can come from either seat. And so there's some backseaters that really have their shit together. My job is to put the airplane where they want it. That happens too.
Okay.
So it's really about coordination because, and it's also, I think it was great that we often flew with the same people because you become, you pick up the habits and you know what to expect, because it's important when you're in a high workload environment,
So you said flying with the same people. Yeah. Did you mostly do that? You teamed up?
Yeah.
Only during the war. Otherwise, we didn't. But during the war, we teamed up with a backseater.
Yeah, I had Beanie in the back. Who are you flying with?
Tard.
Oh, you flying with Tard? Okay.
Redneck Savant.
Yeah.
This guy was a gunny, then was a Mustang and came through. Salty dude. Yeah, it's a great American. Yeah,
that's awesome.
And I call him the Tards of the Redneck Savant. He's an Auburn boy. He's probably the smartest guy. One of the smartest guys I ever met. He's up there with Felix, and we would play chess every day. The whole tent full of jarheads playing chess. He never once lost. He just, but he's also very, very Southern.
Yeah.
Wait one, I'm suffering. Do we have enough fuel for this? Wait one, I'm suffering. Let me get my shoes off. Anyway.
That's him.
Oh man, that's awesome. Oh well, geez, we've been going at this almost an hour. It feels like easily 8 or 10 minutes.
I know.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what I'd like to do is take just a moment and thank the folks at Masterclass who are helping to bring this show to you. And then we'll come back. I'd like to chat a little bit about our friend Flair and some of the hijinks that you guys got into, as well as the war stories.
Whoa! I just discovered something really cool. I've been diving into Chris Voss's negotiating sessions on Masterclass. And this guy, former FBI hostage negotiator, teaches you how to get what you want without anyone realizing you're steering the ship. Tactical empathy, mirroring, labeling. I actually tested it on my dog. He wanted 3 treats. I labeled his feelings, mirrored his little head tilt, and I walked away with 2 beers. And he only got 1 treat. That's a win in my book.
Hold on. You negotiated up from a dachshund?
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, he had me open a jar 3 times before breakfast. Today, I used Voss's tactics. I came out ahead. For the first time, I beat him at his own game.
Nice. Well, Fig was trading with his dog like it's the UN Security Council. I've been having a blast with Penn and Teller Magic and Steve Martin Comedy on Masterclass. I used to do stage magic and hypnosis at state fairs, and so Penn and Teller were right up in wheelhouse. They started with some simple tricks, and then they throw in some advanced theory that makes you go, wait, how did they even think of that? And Steve Martin, he makes starting stand-up sound easy. All you need to do is have the ability to notice stuff, and that kind of works out for me because people already laugh at me when I'm just sitting there quietly.
It's because of your face.
Well, I do have a face for radio. I get it.
That's the thing. These sessions cover everything from negotiating to magic to comedy to leadership. And they're chopped into bite-sized sessions. So even if you're slammed, you can fit one in. I do mine on audio right before bed.
Oh, yeah. That's a good way to go to bed. So Here's the wild thing, though. The stats are that 3 out of 4 members are inspired every single time they watch Masterclass. That's not just hype. I watched Penn and Teller and immediately pulled off a trick. I made Fig's beer disappear.
That's my last beer. I'm still grieving.
Well, like Steve Martin says, comedy is tragedy plus time. You'll laugh about it later, Fig.
All right, folks. If you want to sharpen your skills, whether it's negotiating like Chris Voss, making things vanish like Penn and Teller, or cracking people up like Steve Martin, this is your chance. Right now, our listeners get an additional 15% off any annual membership at masterclass.com/so there I was. That's 15% off at masterclass.com/so there I was. All one word. Masterclass.com/so there I was.
Seriously, folks, we've had some fun with this, but we mean it. Masterclass is worth trying. It's one of those things that can actually make you better at something you care about and maybe even surprise you with something new you never thought you'd try. Go give it a shot. You'll thank yourself. So we got over the war, got into the war. As I recall, the air war was relatively short, which is what prevented Fig and me both from ever getting over there. We were all loaded up, ready to hop on the airplanes and head that direction. The back cleanup for everybody. And they said, yeah, don't bother. It's done. It's over with. So we never got there. At the time, it was disappointing. And in retrospect, it turned out to be a very good blessing in my life. But so how long were you there after the air war? Oh, talk about a little bit about the Highway to Hell, and were you guys involved in that? Or
yeah, the Highway to Hell. I would drop a cut of the scene with Kevin Baker in Animal House. Remain calm, when the people are panicking in the streets. And this is the very towards the end of this thing, and a lot of guys are launching, and there's not much stuff to drop on, and people want to go home. And somebody got something going. I was working that day, and I had this. We would have sort of sectors, grids, okay. And I had this grid. And I mean, you'd like to have control of who's coming in and dropping. It just went crazy, and guys were showing up and dropping bombs. And I remember I had to get out of there because I was afraid I would get run over. It was absolutely because no one had. I think it'd been 3 weeks since anything had really happened, and so there was a lot of pent up. I shouldn't say that. They were actual targets. It was as far as I could see. Now, I know some guys, Ron, some guys went up there after the war on the ground. I never did. Some guys went up to Kuwait to drive around, and I just had EOD nightmares thinking about all the crap that was on the ground there. But, yeah, it was a big mess.
Yeah, I flew over it after it happened. I mean, we flew up there, and it was a horrible scene. And then I don't know, that was when they lit the other big thing that happened there is they lit all the wells on fire. Oh, yeah. And so there was when you went out, it looked like a hellscape because you had all these fires with the black smoke coming up. And then, I mean, everywhere, because I think just about every oil well they had there was burning.
Yeah, it depends on what the weather was. The wind was blowing. Some days it's blue skies. Next day it's 200 overcast and oil and smoke, and you'd launch and fly through it and all over the airplane. This is nasty stuff.
Yeah.
I bet. Holy shit!
And cold and shitty in the winter in Saudi Arabia is not a pleasant time to be. It is not. Yeah. It's cold and nasty.
So how much longer did you guys stay? When did they pack you up and start sending you back stateside?
We sat around on that base for probably 6 weeks. I'll bet you. We were hoping they'd let us fly home, and they almost did. Yeah. No, they craned them on a ship. It would have been so great to come home and come in for the break. That's all I wanted to do was fly home. We did right. So they put us on a 747 and we flew home.
Okay.
Wait, you got to come back on a 747? I thought came back on a 141 or something, and it was like I was stuck in the back of. Wait, I might have come. Maybe I came back earlier.
Before, or did you come over with any of the POW stuff or no?
No,
a lot of guys.
I don't think I stayed 6 weeks. Maybe I left a little earlier.
I don't know. We were on a 747. I remember watching Home Alone, laughing my ass off. It was funny. They were saying like, O4s and E9s board first. And I was like, I don't want to get a shitty seat. And all these knuckleheads ran up to the very top of the 747, and first class was wide open. And then I remember they served us. We landed in Ireland on the way over, and they were waiting for us, an airplane full of Marines with just pints of beer. And by the time we got over the North Atlantic, the heads were overflowing, and people were puking in the aisles, but it was still a great ride home.
Yeah, that's okay. Serving the Marines, Irish serving the Marines beer. That sounds like a beautiful thing. Holy shit!
Yeah.
So was Flair? Who went home with Flair?
Well, Flair was with us the whole time. So the Flair stories were, I remember when we showed up in Greenland, and so Flair was on my wing often, and we were in these new SLEP airplanes. And it's the D, but you can imagine it's got a little bit different checklists and digitals, buttons and stuff. And I was always rushing him to hurry up. I was giving him grief. But we had to go from one, so we left Brunswick, wherever it was, and then off to Iqaluit, that weird ice station zebra kind of place. And then from there we hopped over to Saunderston. And when we got there, it was like the Swedish bikini team was waiting for us. There were all these kids from Greenland or wherever, or Nordic women and young kids all over the place. And so Flair lobbied very aggressively that the weather looked kind of rough at Keflavik, and we really consider holding over here for weather. And Skipper agreed.
I'm shocked there was gambling going on in that casino. Holy shit.
Yeah. He wouldn't tell us anything. He was single at the time, so
he was a ladies' man. There's no doubt about it. And I know I've told some version of this before. There's two people in my life, and Flair is one of them. Two men that I've ever met. That everywhere they went, women just would write down their phone number and hand it to them. It's like, dude, what are you doing? So I don't know, baby. It's a gift.
Well, the other funny thing was, I find it so crazy that his beautiful daughter is marrying a musician, a saxophone player, no less, because Flair was always he would get really, really enthusiastic about things. And he just loved jazz, and he was going to learn how to play the sax, and he got a sax. And he could not play that thing. He brought it out to CAX once, and it's like, put that thing away. It sounded like
it was electronic one though. What? It wasn't a real one.
No, it was a
right?
real live sax.
I thought it was electronic. I couldn't.
The same guy that somehow calmed his way when we got out. The airlines were not hiring, and that was fine. I was ready to go, and he found a way to get an interview with FedEx, and he did well in the interview. And they said, "Come and fly a simulator," and up at SFO. It's like, okay, cool. Now this guy's a freaking OV-10 pilot, and he's not current or proficient. So he hops in the simulator, confident as all, and he says he was supposed to go, proceed to this heading, enter holding here at this point, and stand at whatever. Yeah. And he said he'd never been in a full motion simulator. We didn't have a sim. We had a dumpster that went out in the backyard, a couple times a year, went in motion anyway. So the point was, he gets in the sim and the motion starts. He's like, "Holy shit!" He said the thing ran for about 30 seconds. Motion stopped, and they escorted him out of the building because they thought he was an imposter. He laughed about it, but he's a good pilot. But he's so funny.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, absolutely. Because that's the other thing. I didn't fly with him. I never saw the man get ruffled though. He just smooth.
Well, he's like any good wingman. You don't need anyone to add stress, right? So, the other thing about Flair was, and I'll let Felix tell him, but he had this thing with food, really high quality food. He called it quality. And so we're living in the middle of nowhere in this stupid soccer stadium, and he found an isolated special like royal bathroom that had literally golden fixtures and pearl, all this crazy. And he was like the only guy who knew about it in the whole soccer stadium where there was 3,000 Marines. And then he had this constant supply of food, gourmet food. He'd always pull it out of a pocket someplace, and it was coming to him every. I couldn't believe it. Guys would be going off to the little PX they set up and buying all this crappy food. I got plenty. He always had a supply chain coming in.
Yeah.
He had it figured out.
And he was so laid back. Dan knows this further than I do, but he was always like, there was that LL Cool J song, Going Back to Cali, and he was just went all the time, just randomly. It's like, going back to Cali. And then he would be, he'd do that. And then he'll do it on the intercom. He was just,
2 days before the war, word tack spread heading east on the border out here. We're going over the radio. I'm going back to Cali, going back to Cali. And then he waits. I don't think so. I love that guy.
You sound just like him too. Oh, holy
Great
shit.
story.
I can see him doing it.
Yep.
Hostage
Yeah.
flare.
This is a guy who ran for town council so he could get the permit to build his house because he was building in a commercial zone. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ran for town council and got elected so he could change the zoning. So,
And then resigned.
Yeah.
Well played.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Yeah. Crap.
Let's see. I have one more question to ask.
Yeah.
Oh no, I already got it answered.
Okay.
The guns
Well,
on the
The
airplane.
7.62 millimeter
We didn't have
M60
guns.
machine gun, which doesn't really doesn't count.
unresponsive whether you need it or not, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll tell you where to shoot your gun, please.
Right.
Was
There you
that
go.
was that a easy airplane to spot land? I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
I thought it'd be an easier plane to fly because you got the props there are great speed brakes,
yeah.
very responsive. It requires rudders, and it's a true stick and rudder airplane, and you can feel it very much. And yeah, it's easy to fly. As I mentioned before, in the clouds, or on with all that glass, because the canopy comes down to your thighs. There's a lot of you can imagine
like
you can
that.
get yourself some vertigo going there if you're in and out of the
Totally.
clouds. But, pretty easy airplane to fly.
So how many hours did you guys? How long were you in the squadron?
I was in the. I checked into the squadron in 88, maybe. 80. Anyway, I left the Marine Corps in 93, 92. So after the Gulf, I came back, and then the Air Force had shut down the OV-10. So they said we're going to stand up a RAG with the Cobras, HMT 303. So me and some guys went over, took some airplanes, and stood that up. And then 6 months later, they said, forget the whole thing. And so I was up after that. And, I had a chance to transition to some, guys I don't know if they offered you, Ron, but I could have gone and flown Hornets or Harriers or whatever. I had a good opportunity, but I was just ready to go.
Well, I didn't stay. Yeah, I got it. I think I came about 88 too. I think we got there about the same time, roughly the same time.
Right when Rodman had crashed, right when I got there. Were you there before he crashed or after?
Is that the Big Bear crash or no? No, it was after that because I had not.
crash.
He crashed down in Philippines, right? Where did he crash?
No. This is the one that was out in the Borrego. It would have been. You must have showed up after.
I was after, because I wasn't around for that.
Was that the VMO2 where the doc ejected?
We never had a dock eject that I know
No,
of.
that might have some VM. That was some weird thing. We had a couple sad mishaps. One was we don't know what happened. The most recent one was a guy went up a box canyon and couldn't get out. But most of the reasons airplanes in the military crash are fairly common. If you flew it safely, it could get hairy when it's really heavily loaded at 29 palms. And boy, if you lose an engine, the book says you can fly it away. We'll see. But if you're smart about it and wear your earplugs in your helmet, someone told me, and I'm glad I did because those are some loud engines.
Mm-hmm.
They really are.
Well, prop tips are right at supersonic, so that's just making a
Right by your
little
head.
noise. And, so,
And just
hey, explain what a box canyon is, if you would, please, so our listeners.
Well, this happened, not far from Palm Springs. There's a place called Banning Pass. It's sort of a valley that goes from the desert to the ocean. And these guys were flying in those mountain areas and were flying up these different canyons. And the OV-10 is a high-performance airplane, but it's not like an F-18 or you could just stand on its tail and fly out. So they flew into an area of terrain that was rising faster than the airplane could. And they got to where they couldn't recover, and they ejected and didn't survive. So it's a fundamental thing around mountain flying is you always have to be thinking for a way out. Like if you're flying up a valley, they taught us always be on one side. So if I have to turn out, I can do that versus, having no alternatives. And so a lot of guys who fly military airplanes don't run into that situation because you have lots of power. I'm sure in a Harrier, you got plenty of power. An A4 we did, but in that airplane, you got to be careful.
Yeah. And that incident, Flair was on the, I guess he was assigned to be on the investigation team. He had to go up there and investigate. Yeah. Now, as laid back and unflappable as Flair was, he was angry. I mean, he was still, that made him so angry even to talk about it. He was so angry. I never saw Flair get angry. Like, he's always cool and laid back. Yeah. But if you brought that up, man, he couldn't he couldn't stand it, because I think he thought that was really a dumb thing to do. And that, and I think he knew the people. I don't know if I know Sergio. Did I know Sergio?
Yeah, you knew Sergio.
Okay. I don't remember him, because it happened not long after I got there, I don't think.
Okay.
I think it was not, or maybe I was deployed. I went on 2 back-to-back debts to Okinawa.
When it happened.
Yeah. So I might have
we were both in Okinawa when that happened.
Yeah.
So did they take
Squadron Minus?
Did they take? Was it just from your squadron, or did they take guys from Q1?
So for Desert Storm, they took 6 airplanes, I think, 7 crews, if I'm not mistaken, and they picked the crews, and they said so they took a detachment because they had to maintain coverage of Pendleton as well as Okinawa. So the whole squadron didn't go. I want to say maybe half the squadron went. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I talked to Joel about coming on with you guys, and he said he was talking about being over at Subic during all of this. So was he in the dead over there? Is that what was he VMO too as well?
Yeah, those guys. Okay. So all the guys in the squadron then went one of 2 ways: either the desert or the PI, and a couple of dudes left behind. But basically, everyone was gone. It was split in 2.
Had to go to the PI and spend time there. That was terrible.
Well, that was the first war. There were people who were excited to get over there. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
And
Okay. And that's all when Pinatubo was going off too. So nothing else going on. Just keep it interesting, I guess.
The PI was great. I mean, some of the best flying ever.
It's beautiful, beautiful countryside over there.
PI. Although those monkeys and bats were a bit.
You'd go running. You would go run. You probably did that route that me and Duke used to run that a lot. There's some route you'd run down through the
all the way up, all the way down. Yeah, in the monkeys.
Subic in the hills.
Yeah,
Subic. And you guys, I'm sure, saw the bat during the fall in November. These bats, right? You see the bats in the cube.
I don't remember seeing bats.
8-foot wingspan bats.
Holy
bat
shit!
They were monsters.
That's a pterodactyl.
Yeah.
They're fruit bats, and they live in the mountains in QB wherever. And during the month of November, December, they migrate back and forth, and they have to stop airplanes because you'll hit them, and they're the size of a monkey. It's like the Wizard of Oz. It's the craziest thing. So,
yeah, have a bat strike.
Bat strike.
It's like having a cat with wing strike.
Yeah, exactly.
And you guys talked about it. I just want to confirm you guys never did any carrier ops in the airplane, right?
Not
no, but didn't somebody did a test? Was it Ralph? Somebody did a test. Yeah, somebody did a test.
Well, they flew them off. VMO1 craned them on and flew them off routinely, right? But Pax River did landings with them. We never did. We went to strike pipeline, of course, in the A4 and T2, but we did not have to land at night, thankfully, or live on a boat.
That thing did that have a tail hook?
No, they did. Did they do a special mod for the test landings they did on the? It seems like I remember them talking about that. No, so they just try to land it.
Come on, you got 30 knots, 40 knots coming over the nose. You go to full flaps. You wouldn't hardly even need brakes.
What's the landing speed at full flaps? What are your approach speed?
Well, typically I'd check. Usually it'd be half flaps, 9 knots. I come in as fast as I can. Come in for the break, 6 easier on the turn, gear and flaps down to instrument approach. It might be 130, 120, 130, but in a pattern, 105, no flaps. But I usually have flaps 90 knots. I hardly ever did full flaps because you lose an engine, you're hosed. So typically I go half flaps. A lot of guys would run no flaps. We fly. Pendleton was a 5,000-foot runway, and we had a Fresnel lens. We'd fly off but yeah, very easy airplane to fly. Still remember
except when you were doing a mission. Then it got busy.
It did have a G suit too, believe it or not. Yeah.
Oh, I believe. How many G's would it pull? It seems that straight wing would probably lay it on really quickly too.
It would. I think Huggy were you there? Huggy I think we were in Okinawa. He was doing some flight. He came back and something's all warped. And I think he pulled like, it was maybe like 7 or 8. I think it was
tagged Flair did a little over G once.
He did. I thought it was Huggy. Maybe it was maybe more than one of us.
Look at that smooth.
There's our boys Flair there. Yeah.
There's Tard, and I have a label.
That's Kid on the left and Babar on the right.
Yes, that's it. That's them. That's it. Yep.
There I was.
There I was.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think 6Gs is all. I think it was.
Well, the thing is, you crank on. I was talking to that the other day with a buddy of mine, and that airplane. If you're pulling 6Gs, you're not pulling for a long time, right? It's not.
You'll lose all your airspeed.
You'll be flying around like a helicopter. Yeah. Usually, if you're yanking and banking on a lat course, you're probably doing, 3-4G turns here and there. But you're not. It's not like you're on a Hornet or something.
No.
We had the same problem in the Harrier. Just with no reheat, you just weren't getting your energy back unless you had gravity on your side.
You better pull this sucker. It better be for a reason. Otherwise, I'm out of airspeed and ideas.
Yeah.
That's never good.
No.
Altitude, airspeed, and ideas, you need at least 2.
Yeah.
There you go.
At all times.
At least 2 at all times.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. No kidding. So they had a stick in the back, too. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. You were saying you let them fly. Hey, hold this heading. Hold this altitude heading. Wake me up when we get there.
Shoot, man, Duke always wanted to fly, and I know Rayman was a pilot. I mean,
Rayman just retired from FedEx. Yeah.
Was Rayman was a backseater too?
Yeah, he was. He just retired as a check airman captain over at FedEx. He got out. Now that's a great picture there.
It is. I found that one. You like that one? I just found that one.
It's like
I don't know him, but he didn't look like that for the last 30 years. So.
I used to always joke. He's like, he just got hired to be a check airman or whatever. Like, did they let you talk in the radios? Because I wouldn't let him talk in the radios. He's a great American. That guy's a great guy. He flies warbirds and all kinds of cool stuff. So.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, he really loved flying. I think he was.
He's one of those guys that had his contract, and the Nammy Whammy got him. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a kid like that, and I forget his name, but same thing. He was piloting, Nammy Whammy got him, and he wound up getting the NFO track, and somebody ran into him later, and he's like, they were talking about the things they were doing in flight school, and he found out the flight students were talking on the radio to get clearance, takeoff, landing, and they're like, let you talk on the radio? It's like, no, dude, they just tell us to squawk 7600 and take off. I mean, who do you think talking on the radio? We don't have NFOs in flight school handling the radios for us, man. It's like, he's like, because that's all they basically got to do was talk on the radio.
That took me some getting used to because we were trained as single seat attack guys. And it's like, just don't touch anything back there, dude. Just, and if you're going to puke, use it in the back. It took a while, but they were great to fly with. It was really, that whole Marine Corps air ground thing really comes together when you're working with these guys because it's a pretty interesting job that turned out to be way better than I thought it would be. So,
all right, Pigpen, you show up at your squadron. You're a squadron pilot. What other jobs did you get right out of the gate? Because ain't nobody gets just to be a squadron pilot.
Oh yeah, the shitty little job officer. So let's see. My first shitty little job was NBC officer.
Oh, okay.
And that came into play years later when the Scuds were coming in, but I wasn't then the NBC officer, thankfully.
And that is at the National Broadcasting Corporation, folks.
No, the Scuds were plentiful in anxiety creating. And then I was I did urinalysis. I did NBC.
So NBC is nuclear, biological, and chemical. Urinalysis, squadron picker checker.
Nobody cares is NBC.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
The Scuds are in the air. They want to know where their masks are. And then I got into other flying jobs, ops and real jobs after I enjoyed that a bit of time.
How about you, Felix?
You know what? I'm trying to remember, like, what did I do? I don't remember doing anything but flying and working out.
That's exactly how you want to do it.
How the hell do you get a job?
He's that guy. He's that guy.
I must have had a job. I must have had other jobs, but I don't remember.
Well, there
every squadron had one of those guys. Felix was that
I guess
guy.
It was me. I know I was.
I was that guy. All I wanted to do was fly. I tell you what, man. I knew I was doomed. I'd look at a major, go, "You stupid son of a gun!" I had this disdain for, going off and being a fact or anything like that. I just wouldn't have it. I respect the guys who did. Don't get me wrong.
Did you guys fly after the Marine Corps?
I did a little bit. I was in the gliders, but I got out of flying. When airlines weren't hiring. I had an interview date at American, and it kind of petered out. I flew for a year in reserves.
Okay.
And then about 5 years ago, I started getting back into flying GA stuff and
All right.
flying the Civil Air Patrol.
What about you, Felix?
No, so when I went through Beeville, I bought a plane. I bought a PA-12 from my on-wing that was my instructor. He sold me his PA-12 for $12,500. Wow. Guess that was a lot of money back then.
Yeah, it was.
I know it seems like, but it actually was a good deal. It was a good deal back then too. Pretty good deal, I think. But no, and I was flying out of my future wife's father's grass strip. He had a PA-12 and a Piper Cub. So I had a plane, and I'm flying in Beeville. I'm just having a great time because I'm flying in flight school. I'm at Chase Field, and then I'm flying my own plane with my father-in-law, and that was a lot of fun. So I still had that plane, but when I got out right after Desert Storm. I got out like maybe 4, 5, 6 months after we got back, and I still had the plane, but it was in Beeville. I'm living in Dallas, and I don't have a good job, so I can't afford to keep that. So I had to sell it, and I haven't flown since. And I kind of.
What was the end number? Do you remember?
Yeah, 3218 Mike, and I sold it to I sold my plane to a club out in Midland, I believe, and I guess they still have it. I checked on it maybe 10 or 15 years ago,
cool.
And they still had it. Yeah, so. I guess it's still flying. And the problem is I didn't want to just leave it sitting in a hangar down in Beeville because it's no good for a plane. So I felt like it's like you don't want to let your baby die, so you let it to somebody else. But yeah, so no, I haven't flown since 91.
It's registered at Slow Fly LLC.
Okay, that sounds like a different place, but maybe they changed the name. But yeah, that sounds.
He's blocked. You can't see a restricted view. People do that now, but it's obviously an active airplane. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
That just became a thing. You can now have your name and address show up when someone ran your N number anymore. So that's kind of different. But yeah. So Felix married a Beeville gal. It was fun to meet her and chat with her at the wedding and find out all the people that she knew that I had met when I worked there when I was in high school for the local hardware store and out on a ranch and all that shit.
I'm sorry. I think I missed something. I had no idea you lived in Beeville, Texas.
I did. And the summer between my junior and senior year in high school, I worked at Burroughs Hardware Store in Beeville for a couple weeks. Then the foreman died on the owner's ranch, and I was the only guy with a driver's license, so I had to go pick all the laborers up every morning, go out and work on the ranch and come back. So, but hung out with some folks, learned some Texas living, doing not the VFW. It was a VFW dance, but also the American Legion dance, Friday nights, Saturday nights, that kind of stuff. And yeah, it was a hoot, man. I love Texas. I bought a pair of steer horns that I put on the front of my 68 Impala. So, yeah.
Yeah, me and Repeat have probably 1 degree, like it's at 6 degrees of
Kevin Bacon there.
Or something. Yeah. We get like a 1 degree because I think we can probably go one person and know everybody. Like probably know everybody in Beeville. I mean, Beeville's small, and like my wife's from there, she knows everybody. So you name people, and Pete and Linda were.
Darlene, knew Darlene, knew John West, knew John West,
Yep.
Well, Bugsy's wife was from Beeville.
I didn't know Debbie was from Beeville. No kidding.
Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. Now I'm pretty sure he was a Beeville guy.
Yeah, I went through with him.
Yeah.
I never realized
that's
she
where
was
he
from
met
Beeville.
Debbie. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew?
We can do a show on Beeville flying because I heard Leonard's dad was that guy he got his license when he was like 60, and then he took off and flew to Alaska in the PA-12. And
do you know that shit's dangerous?
Well, he didn't know, and his PA-12 had the Loran C put in he claims it was the only fabric plane with a Lorenzi in it, and they had to put, anyway, he's got, anyway, yeah, so there's a ton of flying stories, I'm sure, from lots of people from Beeville, but yeah, that's
now listen, we have to you guys have to help us. We got to get more OV-10 guys to come on and tell stories, because you're the first two. And we've been doing this, 2.5 years? Repeat?
Yeah.
Rain Man, you get Rain Man. It's
three and a half
would
years.
love to do it. Rain Man loved to do it, right? Right, Dan. Rain Man would love it.
Probably, yeah.
I think.
Well, So some hijinks, some Liberty stories in Subic or Tahoe or Reykjavik.
Subic. Well, I should not talk. I cannot speak of Subic.
Is this like
limitation
Vegas?
is up.
I'm trying to think of Subic. The biggest thing about Subic was it just, the flying there was incredible. I mean, it was just,
No rules.
I remember flying down a freaking river and looking to the right and seeing like water buffaloes and grass huts with antennas. And then it was just crazy. It was like going through the ancient times, but the best flying ever. Can't complain about it. And the Liberty is what it is. Some guys love that stuff. I know some of the troops got in trouble. Everyone has their Subic Bay stories. I was lucky. I saw some interesting things, though. We'll edit that out, but that's all I can say.
Yeah.
It's Subic City. Everyone has been to, although Cuba Point really is a cool place to be. And I think that anybody who gets to the Pensacola Museum,
Yes.
there's a VMO2 plaque in there. In fact, I think Ladd's name's on that plaque. But and maybe Felix, you're on there too. I'm almost sure. So the famous O Club in the Cuba Point Air Station Opera Club, they took it out and put it in the Pensacola Naval Aviation Museum.
Yeah, all the monkey
plaques
pod
are
wood
there.
plaques with everybody's name is up on there. If you can
All
get
there.
there, it's a piece of history. I wonder, I never thought to look for a VMO2 plaque to see if flare was
they're
in
there.
But yeah,
Just to be clear, they disassembled the O Club, the bar, and reassembled it with the plaques and everything in the museum.
Really?
And you can have a beer there.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's
I didn't know
badass.
that.
It's badass.
That's why you have to come to the reunion in Pensacola next
Okay.
year.
My brother, my brother moved right by there, so I really have no excuse, right? I have no excuse.
So we're doing our own reunion for the birthday, and we're doing
on
it
the
down
8th of
there.
November for VMA 223.
Are you guys going to be there too?
No.
Okay.
But no, I think our reunion, I want to say it's May of next year. I'll pass that around. But I'm supposed to.
We're doing a squadron reunion dinner and 250th Marine Corps birthday that weekend. So.
There's an OV-10 association in Dallas, and every couple of years they do a thing, and it brings in. They got over the museum. They've got a couple airplanes. They got a bunch of airplanes you can crawl around in, and there's a Marine OV-10 there that you, Ronald, have flown. I can promise you, because it was in Okinawa.
Okay, yeah.
Sitting there, it's harder to get into than it was before. When last time I flew it.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. But so they have a people who are affiliated with Rockwell guys, Air Force OV-10 guys, Marines, the troops, everybody. I think that's coming up this fall as well in October. So,
well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, repeat. What do you think?
Yeah, well, a couple more questions I've got. We've got to do call signs. Felix, Pigpen, and how did the squadron assign call signs? Oh, and if either one of you want, let's go with flares first, and it's okay to tell because Deanna knows.
Flare is the curve of a woman's small of her back.
Yep.
He's the only guy that ever showed up and said, my call sign's flare. And we said, okay. Usually that's quickly removed, but it worked for him.
Yep. His favorite part, he said. So, all right.
Favorite part.
All right. Well, and how'd you guys do call signs for the most? Did you guys do kangaroo courts? And
we had kangaroo courts, but call signs just happened. I don't remember specifically. I know I can think of a couple guys I'm pretty sure gave call signs to. I think I know how Felix got his call sign. It's kind of obvious.
It's obvious to us guys, but like young people would have no idea.
Kids ask your parents. Yeah.
It's like Duke thought it was from Felix the cat, so he's older than us.
It's the Odd Couple Felix.
Yeah, it's the Odd Couple
right?
Felix. Yeah, because the Unger, last name's Unger,
Felix
so
Unger.
it's like Felix Unger.
Yeah,
like,
that's how I got Fig Newton.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. The greatest OV-10 call sign I ever saw was Senta, which is short for placenta. He's so ugly they threw the baby out by mistake.
No.
If you my one guy, he shows up with that patch, call sign Senta. Shout out.
Is he really that ugly?
I don't know.
We interviewed a fellow Marine. Gosh, it's been a couple of years ago now. He wrote a book.
Driver, yeah.
He wrote a book about call signs, and oh man,
brutal. Yeah,
brutal. What was macro?
Macro
was an acronym. Married a crack hole.
Yeah, there's some rough ones out there. Yeah,
I told one of you there. Now I forget which. I think it was Felix earlier. My other favorite one was Lamb Chop. The guy was about 5'2", 5'3", and and they used to run his seat all the way down. He was a Hornet guy. They run his seat all the way down, so he'd get in the airplane and he couldn't see over the canopy rail. He's so short. He get pissed off, run it up, and then the final straw that pissed him off was when they put no step on his helmet.
Pretty good.
Lamb Chop was an acronym also. Little angry man, can't handle our program.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can hear now. Chop flight 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
It's hysterical.
Love it.
Yeah. And don't fight it. It just makes it worse.
Dude.
And then Simba. Yep.
Yeah. What was that? What was Simba? Help me out. I forgot.
I think he did that in the extra, but the long and short of it was in the movie Simba. I guess I haven't seen the movie, but somehow Simba gets the name Simba as they're putting like a cross on his forehead in blood or a streak of blood on his forehead and name him Simba. And so this dude is with his wife one night, and he makes the mistake of telling a buddy and goes, "Yeah, don't tell anybody." He's with his wife one night.
Oh yeah.
He finishes. She takes the extra and goes on his forehead and goes Simba. And he tells somebody about it, dumbass.
Oh man.
Yep.
Like, yeah. Okay.
That just happened.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And there's a guy in the background here right now. Bago's with us tonight doing show production, coming up with pictures and stuff like that. Mm. And Bago and Sticks both do that for us. And as he told the story and said, here's what happened, he puts a picture up, which is a screen freeze frame from the movie of Simba getting, named.
Yeah. Because he's that fast.
Yeah, he's that fast and that good that, these guys are amazing and helping in the background. So, oh, holy shit, this has been fun. Yeah, I think we probably ought to land the airplane, Fig. We have had what an amazing time. Thank you both for coming on with us and spending this time with us.
Great stories.
We couldn't do it. Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh, right? There it is.
And thank you. First of all, thank you both for your service. We appreciate that you spent time away from your family and in the desert of Southwest Asia, hoping to
in harm's way.
Yeah, in harm's way, putting your life on the line and signing that check for your country when a lot of people don't do that. And that's a big damn deal. So we're grateful to you and all veterans who stepped up and did that, and their families who kept the home fires burning whilst you were away. And that means a lot. It's a big deal. And none of this is free. Freedom isn't free. And so thank you. It's two little words that seem so trite, but really truly mean so much to us. So.
Cool.
Any others, Fig? Any other thank yous?
Yeah. Well, we need to thank all our Patreons for losing all judgment and throwing money at us to keep the big wheel spinning, which it does, thanks to you. Thank you. We are very humbled. And of course,
yeah. In fact, and let me take this moment to mention Nick Shokely, Fig. I don't remember if I CC'd you on the email or not.
You did.
I noticed so he canceled his membership this week, and I'm surprised he didn't do it 3 months ago, because we have one of the levels. We have pilot and section lead and division lead, and those are levels at $5, $10, and $15 a month, and then we have tanker aircraft commander, which is $200 a month. and damn if he didn't do 4 months. So and somehow I got the first month and read the dedication to his dad, and the other 3 months dropped out. And oh my God,
that's like he's wing commander level now.
Yeah, that's like wing commander, chairman of the Joint Chiefs. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of coin. So thank you so much. You're right up there with Chucker and Sal, and and Michelle, who've sent us a lot of money over the years. And we're deeply appreciative. And now I'm in trouble because I know I've left other people out who have given that kind of coin, and I'm humbly apologizing. Yeah,
way to go.
Whoops. Fig forgot to tell me who you were, and so blame it on him. Send him the nasty grams. Send Fig the nasty grams. So
listen, I don't remember what I did yesterday half the time,
right.
So I got a good excuse.
Stick with that. So,
how about a big thank to Dave Hamilton?
Right. Gives us all the knowledge, know-how, server space, puts cash flying our way, and gets us advertising like those fine folks at Masterclass. So, yeah, backbeatmedia.com gets us our advertising, and Masterclass sponsoring this show. We are deeply grateful. Man, I don't know about you, Fig. I am having a ball with the Masterclass videos. Those are awesome. Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah,
I mean, really.
I've actually had a pretty good time watching the first 2 episodes of the Art of Negotiation.
And Phil Ivey, how to play poker, how to not give your tells away, how to pick up other tells. He's a human lie detector, that kind of shit. So yeah, it's amazing stuff. And I don't know. Hey, if you're enjoying the show, there's 2 things you can do for us. One is share it.
Share the show.
Sharing the show and having other people listen is as good as money to us. It really is. The more people that are listening, the more we can charge confiscatory advertising rates and take money from people for plugging their products. But that being said, we aren't going to plug stuff that we don't believe in. I'm loving this masterclass, or I wouldn't talk about it. So yeah, no thanks.
I'm still trying to process confiscatory. I'm not even quite sure.
That's your 50-cent word of the day, brother.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask Grok what the fuck confiscatory is.
Right? No shit. So anyway, let's see. What else do we need to talk about there? So share the show and give us a rating. Go over to sterowas.us/rate. And throw 5 stars on our rating. Follow the little links that they give you there and do that. Don't give us 4 stars. Don't give us 3. No. And if you give us 2 or 1, we're going to hunt you down and someone's going to put Simba on your forehead. I'm just saying.
You might get confiscatorized.
That's right. Don't do it if you know what's good for you. So, a couple other things. Oh, there you go. Fig was out for a couple weeks. He's back now, but I think he was out trying on bikinis.
Actually, I got asked to never come back to the beach last week where I was, and because I was wearing I wasn't. However, if you have a female friend, there's no way that she wouldn't look good in the So There I Was bikini or any other thing you can get at So There I Was.us/merch because we got a shitload of stuff.
Absolutely. And the cool thing about that bikini, man, you can go, if she's wearing it, you can go right up to her with your phone and take a picture because it's got that QR code with the website right on, right on the bottoms.
Let me run that to my wife real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, there you go. Get one for your wife.
So, maybe stand still for a second. I'm trying to take a picture of your QR code.
That's it. That's all, honey.
She would reject that pointy thing off of her body.
That's awesome.
Oh,
hey, we got to thank Badass.
Badass indeed.
BDS Aviation Photography. He was with us tonight, and he has awesome aviation pictures. It's art.
The man is an artiste.
And he supplies us with an unlimited number of awesome pictures.
He does indeed. And then I guess lastly, but certainly not leastly, is the folks from the Air Force that make the Air Force sound good.
Are you talking about the Dos Gringos?
Both of them, man. Yes. Not one, but 2. Dos Gringos. 4 albums. Not a bad song in the bunch. And you know what? Generally great guys. Genuinely great guys. New lips. Genuinely great guys. Trip and Snooze, God bless you, man. Thank you for letting us use your music. It's deeply appreciated. It helps make the show.
Yeah.
And we're grateful for it. So,
thanks, gents.
Indeed. So, I guess until next week, everybody, all we can tell you is stay safe and check 6.
Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond of all the shit I was wearing on that day. Now an F-16 is cramped enough, but it's even worse with all that stuff supposed to save your life. But we knew there was no way. 'Cause when you're going down the North Atlantic, man, it's over.
Hold on. It's what?
He said it's over.
Oh, that makes me sad. This one's for you, Pigpen.
That boy is a P-I-G pig.
And we're
Out.